Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Municipal Police Training Committee and Quninsigamond Community College Campus Police Department, I welcome you to the graduation ceremony for the RIROC number 1. My name is Deputy Chief Reynaldo Rodriguez, and I will lead you through tonight's events. Please direct your attention to the screen where a video of the Academy recruits in training will be displayed. Opening today's ceremony is the Police Pipes and Drums Band of Worcester, Mass. The Pipes and Drum Band was established in 1998 and is comprised of active and retired law enforcement professionals from the Worcester area. They have performed at hundreds of events throughout the Northeast. At this time, I ask that you please stand for the national anthem, which will be performed by Cheryl Finn.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous ride o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please remain standing. Okay. Why we have to retire the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the invocation. The invocation will be given by Itamar Elizalde.
Class, sleep, parade, press!
Let us pray. Oremos. Almighty Father, we pray for those present here today. We are grateful for those who have accepted and prepared for the task of keeping peace, enforcing justice, and providing us the safety to flourish as a community. Theirs is a sacred calling, one of great responsibility. For the scriptures tell us that no one has greater love than to lay down our lives for their friends. They have responded to this in offering their lives and vocation in service and protection to this great community. Now more than ever, we are keenly aware that they must work harder to ensure our safety. So we pray for these souls as they guard our way of life, that you would guard their strength. As they protect us from evil, that you would protect their minds. And as they safeguard us with reassurance, that you would safeguard their hearts. We pray for their loved ones both near and far. Help us to honor them as well. Lastly, we know that to keep evil at bay, you will often offer us our best, as you've exemplified in the Gospels and in the life of Christ. We believe you've done so with them as well here today. So grant them wisdom, compassion, patience, understanding, and friendship. Guard them and guide them. Guíalos y consuélalos. We pray in your holy name, en tu santo nombre. Amen.
Please remain standing, as we would like to acknowledge family members of this academy who are currently serving overseas as members of the United States Armed Forces. We hold them in our thoughts and in our prayers, and we wish them safekeeping. Also, please join me in a moment of silence as we remember those police and military personnel in our great Commonwealth and beyond who have given their lives in defense of this nation and its people. Please be seated.
Class, attention, ready?
It is now my pleasure to recognize any dignitaries who are present, and I ask that they please stand. Please join me in recognizing the instructors and the supporting staff of the Academy who are responsible for training the recruits. Please stand up. All right. In addition, we would like to take this time to recognize all police officers in the audience, both active and retired. Please stand. Please join me in welcoming to the stage President of Quninsigamond Community College, Dr. Luis Pedraja.
On behalf of Quninsigamond Community College, I'd like to welcome all of you who are here to join us in this celebration. I also would like to congratulate the cadets for a job well done. And I know that you probably felt that this was a long road, but your determination to see it to the end has paid off in this day. And I think you need to be proud of yourself for what you've done and for what you've accomplished on this day. I think it takes a lot of courage and dedication, not only to come into a training program, to be able to put yourself through a year-long academy and to all the rigors thereof, both physical and mental challenges that you face. But it also takes a level of determination and courage and a very large commitment to your community to put yourself in a situation where you are willing to be the ones who stand between our community and those that seek to perpetuate evil in its midst. It takes courage to be able to take a stand and to protect those who serve. And it also takes a little bit of humility and a lot of heart, because you are selflessly giving to our community and making sure that all those who are here will be able to sleep safe at night, feel safe that you are out there and that you are there to not only protect them and to help them in an emergency. Throughout the years, and some of you know this of me, I did a lot of volunteer work as a first responder. I was disaster team captain and also the head of the disaster action teams in Dallas. I was a reserve officer with the Emergency Management Agency in Memphis, Tennessee. And in all those areas that I was served as a first responder, I was always out there in the midst of the worst of circumstances, in the rain and the storms, after tornadoes or floods or fires that devastated a community. And the first responders that were there were the ones that always had my admiration, especially those who were doing it day in and day out, who were out there putting their lives on the line, leaving their families in times of crisis to tend to others in the community. That takes quite a bit. And I was there in many of those situations, standing with them as they faced the cold, as they faced unknown circumstances, and often people that needed assistance, and they were willing to give selflessly. So I've always had a close relationship with many people who are first responders and serve our communities in that way. And I got to admire them for all that they did. So I admire you for your willingness to take on those roles day in and day out as a part of, whether it's part-time or full-time, the dedication is always in the mindset. It's a way of life. It's a full-time commitment. And I know that your families also bear a little bit of the challenge of this, knowing that you're out there putting yourself at risk to help others. So I admire you for that. Many years ago, my first wife who passed away from cancer, her father, my father-in-law, was a retired Dallas police officer, founding member of the Dallas SWAT team. And we would talk a lot about different things. And one of the things that he will always tell me is that when he was out in the field, he had one of the greatest weapons. And he said, it wasn't my gun, it wasn't my rifles, it wasn't anything that I had physically. He said, my mind was my greatest weapon. And I think that is something to remember, that as you go out and do your jobs and enter into the profession, that you remember that all the training that you got physically will serve you well. But the most important thing was what these instructors here and what gave to you. The knowledge, the wisdom. That's what's going to serve you the best. Go out there, do the best, shine for the community, shine for our college. Treat others with compassion and respect. Be brave, be kind. Thank your family from time to time because they're there with you. And most importantly, know that we're proud of you and that you're always part of the QCC family. Congratulations, graduates.
President Pedraja, thank you for hosting a police academy here at QCC. Please join me in welcoming to the stage our next speaker, Chief Kevin Rutaco of the Quninsigamond Community College Campus Police Department and the Director of the Police Academy.
Good evening. I welcome you all here tonight and thank you for your support for our recruits and the Academy program itself. On behalf of the Quninsigamond Community College Police Department, I congratulate all the recruits from QCC Reserve Intermittent Recruit Officer Course Number 1. Today is your day to celebrate all the hard work and dedication you have shown over the past 9 months. I want you to know the hard work and commitment you have all demonstrated did not go unnoticed. Think back to day 1 for a moment. I recall talking to you all on that day in September, actually on this very stage. If you recall, I gave you one task. I simply said, make us proud. Well, I have to say you all accomplished that task, and I thank you, and I'm very proud to be part of your accomplishments. You now have the training required to work as a police officer in a city or town police department. As you go out looking for employment, you will find police departments are looking for officers that possess the following qualities: humanity, respect for life and liberty, to be sensitive and inclusive, treating everyone with dignity and compassion, integrity, guided by the principles of justice, employ the highest ethical standard, demand accountability, consistency, fairness, and honesty in the performance of your duties. Professionalism, take pride in your work. Committed to excellence in our profession, maintain the highest standard of education in our field. Courage, maintaining mental and moral strength to resist opposition, and fairness of mind. Always stand by your fellow officers in the face of danger or extreme difficulty. And when you get that position, you will perform duties of a police officer. Some of these duties are to protect life and property through the enforcement of law and regulations, proactively patrol assigned areas, respond to calls for police emergencies, conduct preliminary and follow-up criminal traffic investigations, conduct interviews, prepare written reports, field notes of investigation and patrol activities, arrest and process criminals, testify in court, conduct emergency duties during adverse weather conditions, exercise judgment in determining when to use force and to what degree, operate a law enforcement vehicle under emergency conditions day or night, comprehend legal documents, including citations, affidavits, warrants, and other documents, command emergency personnel at accident, emergencies, and disasters, take an active role in the community-oriented policing program. You will self-initiate traffic and/or criminal investigations. And a few good skills to become a good police officer: you would need open-mindedness, resilience, assertiveness, maturity, able to handle responsibility, able to remain calm in a challenging or dangerous situation, good interpersonal skills, and good communication skills. Now, recruits, does this all sound familiar? It should, as this is exactly what the Academy staff here at QCC prepared you to do. Once you gain employment as a police officer, you will then understand why the training program and why it was designed the way it is. I want to give you something to think about. Policing isn't always what it seems. Hollywood typically only portrays the action-packed duties of the police officer. In reality, the average day of a law enforcement officer is filled with many small, unexpected calls and responsibilities. As a police officer, you will never know how your next shift will unfold. While some may prefer days of steady routine, the unpredictable nature of police work can be incredibly exciting and rewarding. You are called upon to be a leader and a protector in our community, and your role can change the lives of the citizens under your watch. Some of the most rewarding parts of being a police officer is working on the front line and making differences in the lives of others. This academy has prepared you to enter into people's lives, and you can quite literally change those lives. One example is when you're looking down at the face of the baby you just delivered on the side of the lonely road, you know how important it was that you chose to be a police officer. Before I leave you with a quote, I want to thank your DI. I'm going to call him a DI. Sergeant Checky has kept you guys in line. He's done an awesome job. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of you guys. And I'll leave you with a quote that is attributed to Mayor Angelillo. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. Congratulations, and please stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Rattacco. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Detective Sergeant Joseph Checky, Program Coordinator of the Police Academy.
Feel a little comfortable in here. I want to thank everyone for coming right off the bat. My name is Detective Sergeant Joseph Checky. I'm the Program Coordinator here at the Academy. We have the auditorium for the next 4 hours, so I'll make sure that my speech is real short. I'll make it an hour long. No, I'm just kidding. And if anyone leaves early, you owe me a 2 from. Ask Sotra. He's got the record for all the two froms in the academy. If anyone doesn't know what a two from is, it's when they make an infraction, they have to write me homework of why that happened. Some of you probably helped them. Feel free to keep your eyes on me, guys. You guys, guys and gals, you can look over here. I wanted to start off and thank the academy staff, the instructors, the several police departments. There were so many police departments that were involved with this. I wish I could name them all, but we just don't have the time, even though I have an hour. I want to thank Workforce Development. I want to thank all the different offices at this college here. It really shows what it means to have a collaboration. I also want to thank President Luis Pedraja, Vice President Stephen Marini, Chief Rataco, the entire Municipal Police Training Committee. If it wasn't for them, we would not be able to do this training here. And I especially want to thank Deputy Chief Reynaldo Rodriguez. Deputy Chief Rodriguez, this academy could not have been done without you. I am forever grateful for the constant dedication, time, and effort that you have spent with me and these recruits to make this possible. I remember 11 years ago, almost to the date today, that I graduated from a Municipal Police Training Committee similar to this one. But the difference for me is how proud I am of you 44. I envy, and I'm very envious of the mass amount of training that you have really received here. Every one of the student officers present here should have a high sense of pride and honor. Any typical police recruit within another reserve intermittent academy would have gone through a minimum of 373 hours. These recruits were tested over and over again and completed 504 hours of training, both MPTC certified and some that are outside of that curriculum. You have all committed yourself to a higher calling, and a higher code of conduct and community beyond you. There are few who have really accomplished what you have all done within the past 9 months. I don't even know if we should let them go yet. I think they think different. As Academy class, I'm very proud, and I know the President as well, and the Chief Rataco, how you gave back to the community in various ways. As a class, you volunteered your time. You donated to the community by giving back to the food pantry. You participated in No Shave and Pink Patch, which supports cancer research. You marched in the Worcester County St. Patrick's Day Parade, and you stuffed toys with Cruiser while I was dressed as Santa. Yes, I was a blue suit Santa. I even pat-frisked the President. We got a little extra toys out of him. RIROC Class Number 1, which stands for Reserve Intermittent Recruit Officer Course, you were challenged at the Academy daily, and yes, I challenge you even some more. I remember the first day, which was in September, and you all sat in this same room. And I know you all remember it too. The several staff instructors, with their kind and soothing voices, helped me guide you and direct you through the day's events. During the Academy, they also helped me with dumping your bags. And this was all to ensure that you had all the required equipment that was needed for the Academy. I specifically remember a purple towel when I know I said a white one. And then we neatly stuffed your bags in a very organized fashion. Not really. Throughout the Academy, you were tasked with assignments that just seemed more mundane, pointless, such as bag dumps, let me flip the page, marching, saluting, and even two-from memos. Sotra. Throughout the Academy, you learned to work as a team and independently, as well as always giving your best, even knowing that the clock was against you. And here I am, trying to have this great speech, and I'm running out of time. You also learned quickly as a class that you're all responsible for one another's actions. I was able to come up with many fun activities that reminded you of this, such as only giving you 10 minutes to get to class and shower and be in your seats every day. I knew from the start of this task it was not even possible, but we still did it anyways. You also showed Lieutenant Luzon that you could line up cell phones and notebooks along the marker board. And one student was so attached to his jacket, and another one lost his water bottle. Haskell, I brought your water bottle. I was able to solve these concerns as Student Officer Kodra was issued a Coke coupon and Haskell was given a 5-gallon jug, to be exact. Another student was also even late for orientation, so today, Student Officer Peterson, you're getting your certificate last. Yes, I ended up forgiving him, even though he did it to me again. Oh, and the last person, Class President Stephen Martell. I wish I could talk about every student in the Academy, but I'm sorry, we can't. We don't have the time unless we extend it another 4 hours. Oh, I could say so much about you, Class President Stephen Martell. He was hired, fired, and rehired on a weekly basis as the class president. That's true. And because of this, Vice President Fisher had never been promoted and demoted so many times, and I am confident that he's able to take over today if need be. We'll see how it goes. Officer Fisher, I hope you have a backup speech. The final fun activity involved the entire class. I had you stand outside, it was raining and chasing papers. They were blowing in the winds, and you also got to learn what the definition of discipline meant. Quite often during the academy, I happened to lose my voice and my clipboard while trying to patiently help you. Everything done here at the academy was designed to have a relationship to training and policing. The academy goals were not only to prepare you for today, but for what is coming tomorrow and every day after that for the rest of your careers. During the daily stress of the academy, you learn to have the mindset to never give up because other people are relying on you. We instilled honor, discipline, integrity in every one of you, which is needed for this profession. Unfortunately, the MPTC Executive Director, Dan Ziskovich, wasn't able to be present. He had prior arrangements. If he was here, I know he would have 4 challenges that I often heard him quite often discuss. One of the first challenges directly ties to community engagement and community policing. It is a reminder by statute, you are not law enforcement, you are police officers. There's a subtle but yet very distinct difference between the two. If you go to work every day and you think your job is law enforcement, you think your job is to write tickets and make arrests. If you go to work every day and you think your job is being a police officer, you'll understand that those are only 2 of hundreds of options. Writing tickets and making arrests is only a small part of your job. Your main goal, job, and mission is to protect and serve. You will also, sorry, I'm ahead of myself. I remembered it well. Please remember, you are police officers, you are not law enforcement. The second challenge, to serve with honor. What does it mean to have honor? It means to keep your promise that you made not only to the community, but to the profession. Serve with honor means doing what's right, not because someone's watching. And the third challenge, serve with courage. Yes, it takes courage to wear a uniform, to wear a badge, and go to work every day. But it takes real courage to serve with integrity and ethically. Always have the courage to do what's right, regardless of the obstacles, regardless of temptation, and sadly, regardless of peer pressure. The last challenge that Dan Ziskovich talks about is to serve with commitment. It's a commitment to community, profession, and yourself. Always strive to be better, not just better than the person next to you. Please remember, you are not police officers. Sorry about that. Please remember, you are police officers. You are not law enforcement. Serve with honor, serve with courage, and serve with commitment to excellence. The executive director, we're almost done. The executive director of MPTC also mentioned that the final exam is yet to come. You have been tested, and yes, tested again. And no, I'm not going to take you in the back room and give you another final exam. The true final test is that first shift when you put on that uniform and you put on that badge. At that point, sometimes 90%, 100%, or even 110% that you give is just not good enough. No one ever wanted an officer who's only 70% good at police work. Just because you're going to become a part-time police officer, a reserve intermittent recruit officer, or auxiliary police officer, 50% is not good enough. When you become a police officer, you lost that right to be unfit. And our profession is 3 dimensions to fitness: physical fitness, moral fitness, and mental fitness. Your training does not end here today. It actually just started. This is not the end. This is only the beginning. On behalf of the Academy class, I'd like to present a gift to Chief Otaco, if he could please come up. And the following gift will be presented by Officer Catherine Dixon. This is to convince the president and the chief that we need to have more academies because they're for challenge coins. Thank you for giving me this speech. And as Dan Ziskovich would say from the executive director, congratulations and Godspeed.
Yeah, excuse me, everyone, we're a little bit out of order. Before we get to our special guest speaker, we have another speaker who is in the program, but we are out of order. Here he comes, District Attorney Joseph Early, Jr.
Thank you, and I'm going to be brief. I want to thank everyone tonight. I want to congratulate QCC's graduate class number 144 strong. Thank you for, You know, I don't like Quninsigamond Community College. I love Quninsigamond Community College, and I love everything that you do. President Pedreja, the men and women, the fine officers, to the families, to the mothers, brothers, fathers, sisters, grandfathers, grandparents. Everyone, congratulations tonight. You guys have taken a noble undertaking. Life is about giving back. I'm a firm believer in that. We're down here for a purpose, and part of that purpose is to help others. You guys are the first class, and you should be proud of that. You're undertaking a journey to which Robert Peel said, remember, policing is about preventing crime and disorder. That was said in 1873. And prevention never goes out of style. It's not a liberal term, it's a conservative term. A stitch in time saves 9. And you're going to have the ability to influence people, to help them on their journey. And as Plato said, and I don't quote Plato too often, be nice to people. Everyone is fighting their own battle. Remember, also what Maya Angelou said, you might not remember what a person said, you might not remember what a person did, but you're always going to remember how a person made you feel. And to every contact you have, you're going to represent your town, your city, your school. You practice the golden rule. Treat them just the way you'd want your family members treated. And in this time and age, we're going through the biggest social problem that I have ever seen, and that's the opioid crisis. And what we have to remember is that this is not a moral failing or a character flaw. This is a very complex disease of the brain. And when people realize and understand that, we're going to have more opportunities for treatment. Insurance companies are going to do more. And pharmaceutical companies like Purdue Pharmaceutical are going to be held accountable for telling us OxyContin was a non-addictive drug. And you're going to run into these people. You're going to run into them every day. Remember, they are our brothers and sisters. They are our mothers and fathers. They are people who are suffering from a very complex disease, and now more than ever, it's important that you use the golden rule. Because as the Secretary of the National Institutes of Health tells us, when a person comes to an emergency room, they should be treated like they have a disease like cancer or diabetes and never be booted out of that emergency room. They should be also told that there's help for them and there's a treatment plan in place, or as Dr. Volkoff from the National Institutes of Health said, it should be medical malpractice. You're going to come into the possession of these people. Treat them with respect and dignity. Understand that they have a disease. This is a challenge you're going to have. You're going to be carrying Narcan wherever you are. You're going to be able to save lives. This is a noble profession. I wish you all the best in your endeavors. I truly believe that life is about giving back, and it's an honor to be here tonight. I do not want to speak too long. I'll just say this to all of you. Stay safe, Godspeed, and to all the families. I look forward to working with all of your relatives, your sons, your daughters, in the years to come at the courthouse. I look forward to working together, because remember, there is no I in team, but there are two in idiot. Nice to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, District Attorney. Now please join me in welcoming to the stage our special guest speaker, retired Sergeant Albert L. Toney of the Massachusetts State Police.
Wow, this is great. I can remember Joe. I've known Joe a long time. I knew his dad, very good friends of his dad, and I used to go over his house, and it's hard to believe Joe has gray hair and I don't. So, but But again, my name is Albert Tony, retired Sergeant in Mass State Police. I've been 38 years with the State Police, and I enjoyed my career. I had Sergeant Chessie and invited me to be a guest speaker to the class, and I really, really enjoyed it. And they invited me here to be the speaker tonight, and I thank you for that. This is a great honor. I also teach here at Quinsig. I've been a teacher here for 20 years. This is a great school. I'm also a graduate of Quinsig, and graduate of Quinsig and Anna Maria, and this is a dynamic school. Those of us who are in the law enforcement profession have been waiting for this moment a long time. This is a great honor for me to take and be here, to take and able to take and speak to the first class. You should be very proud of these men and women. They have made an accomplishment. This is a start. This is a start within their career. But I would like to talk to them about their careers. You're going to take, and there are going to be trials and tribulations. Not everything about law enforcement is good. Like the other speaker said, you're going to take and you're going to have situations where there are going to be some good times, there are going to be some bad times. The majority of the things that you're going to do, you're going to have to record, you're going to have to write down. You're going to be challenged, constantly challenged. There's going to be people out there, in this day and age, there's people out there with cameras, there's people out there always questioning everything that you do, okay? You have to be tough. And I don't mean physically tough, you have to be mentally tough. Now, to talk to the family members, you are going to notice a change. They are going to be involved in situations that the normal person is not involved in. They are going to see things that are going to change their characters and personalities. This is a norm. Work with them. If somebody comes home during the course of my job, 38 years, I lost 3 friends. One of my closest friends, Judge Hanna, was shot and killed in Auburn in 1983. I was the last person to talk to Judge, and when they came and they talked to me later, I was reflecting on our conversation and what we had and stuff, and that bothered me. And I went home and I sat in the study. And my wife came in and she asked me, is there anything I can do for you? And I said, no, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. And basically I worked myself out of it. And that's the bad aspect of the job. There were bad times about the job. In 1993, I was doing a political escort in Worcester. I was at the Centrum, and 2 miles away, my son, Al III, who was a Worcester police officer, was shot in the line of duty. I heard it over the radio. They said a police officer had been shot, and they were giving the bulletins, the various bulletins. And I was listening on the radio. Halfway back to Boston, we're doing a political escort. The Sergeant pulled over. He pulled to the side of the road. He came back. He said, headquarters wants you to call right away. I called, and I'll never forget it. The lieutenant says to me, he says, look at Al, the police officer that was shot tonight was your son, and he's dead. I took, and I remember going down the turnpike. I remember watching the speedometer on the cruiser. I remember crying. I remember getting to the hospital, EO St. V's, and I went in, and there was a lieutenant and a captain there from Worcester PD, several other officers. I came in, the doctor directed me to the room, and I went in the room. Several people were shot that night. I went in the room, and I sat there, and the body was covered. And I took and after a while, I drew down a blanket and I looked. It wasn't my son. They'd gotten the IDs mixed up. I looked in the other room, and my son was fighting for his life in the other room. So the good Lord gave me a blessing. And with that blessing, I was able to take and carry on. Those are the down points of this job. The good points of this job the fact that you have an opportunity to take and make a difference. You have an opportunity to take and interact with the general public. I'll give you an example. There was a young man. I was doing a traffic detail on the weekend, and on Gold Star Boulevard here, I saw a young man go through a stop sign, so I followed him, and he over by Strands, and he pulled in his driveway. He got out of the car. I pulled the cruiser in back of him. I got out. I said to him, license or registration. He reached in the car, a 19-year-old young man, and he came out and he had the registration. I asked him, I says, do you have a license? He says, no, sir. Very, very polite. And very polite, very respectful. He says, no, sir, I don't have a license. And so instead of just issuing a citation, I always asked why. And I said to him, I says, can you tell me why you don't have a license? He says, yeah. He says, I can't get one. And I said, well, you can't get one because you're suspended, because you have a criminal record? What is it? And he says, no, I can't read or write. And so I checked on the computer. He had no criminal history or anything. And I sat there. Now it's a decision-making time. Do you give him a citation? Do you take and you put him back in the system? Or do you reach out? Do you use the power and influence that you have and reach out? And I said to him, I said, look, you're decent and you're respectful, and I respect that. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, meet me here in your driveway. He was living with his girlfriend on the third floor of a three-decker. They had a 4-month-old child. He had just gone out to take and gotten some supplies from the grocery store for his newborn child. Next morning, he met me at 10 o'clock. I drove him down to the Worcester Registry. I went in and I saw the director. And I said to the director, I says, hey, remember the time that you said to me if I needed anything? And I says, well, today's the day. And so I went in and I said, look I says, I've got a young man out there. I need him. He's going to apply for his learner's permit. I need him to take and have an exam orally. If you can't read or write, you can take the exam orally. I don't know whether people are aware of this or not, okay, but you can take the exam orally. The director came out, took him in a back room. They came out probably about 20 minutes later, and he said, okay, he's got his permit. So after he's got his permit, the young man said to me, he says, thank you, I don't know how to repay you. I said, we ain't done yet. I says, so a week went by. I borrowed my neighbor's car, and I scheduled him for his road test. He came down. We met a couple of hours beforehand. I had him get acclimated to my neighbor's car. We went down. I sponsored him, and he got his road test. And when the whole thing was said and done, he said to me, he said, you're kind of a different cop. And I said, no, not really. You determined your own fate. You determined the fate because, you know what? You were decent to me, and I have a responsibility to assist the general public. The idea is that you're into public service. You're not into serving them up, okay? And again, people take and determine your fate. You open a lot of doors. You have a lot of people who take and trust you, that trust you and believe in you. So it took, and he ended up with his license. He said, I don't know how I'll ever repay you. A couple of days went by, and I was stationed at the Holden Barracks, and I got a phone call, and the trooper goes, Sarge, it's for you. And it was a young man's grandmother. And she said to me, she said, I don't know how to thank you. She says he could never read or write. He was in special programs in school. He's working hard. He has a new child and everything. And we don't know how to take and thank you. And I said, well, just a thank you will suffice. And not only that, but she thanked me over the phone, and she sent me a very nice letter. 2 days after that, I get another call, and it's a young lady, and she says to me, she says, Al, remember me? My name is Judith. And I says, not really. She says, we went to South High together. We were in Miss Lee's English class. The young man that you helped was my son, and I want to thank you. So you never know where it's going to reach, how you're going to reach people. You never know how you're going to touch people. There are times I can be the meanest son of a gun on two legs, but there are times when the general public is just asking for help. And this is the challenge that you have. This is the challenge that you have as police officers, whether to take and use force or don't use force. Hey, I've hit my share of bad people, and bad people have had their share of hitting me. But it's not about that. It's about you taking and making a difference. You're going to be challenged in every way. You as family members have to understand that when something happens, it affects the person that you love. Okay? So I'm going to ask you to take and be tolerant of you. Also, one of the big mistakes that I see officers make is don't ever forget your family. Your family loves you. Your family trusts you. Your family will take and forgive you for just about anything. Okay? They are the backbone of you being here. They are the strength of you being here. If I can ask the class to stand, please stand. I can ask the entire class to stand. I want you to look out. Look out. This is the first and last time you'll ever have an audience or a group of people that totally love you, that totally care about you, that totally want to be here. This is your support group. These are the people you're going to go home to. These are the people you're going to make a living for. Never, ever forget them. Stay true to your family. Stay true to your profession. And most of all, be the best that you possibly can be. God bless you, and I wish you the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Tony. Well, here we are. The recruits will now prepare for the acceptance of their certificates. The recruits will also be receiving a challenge coin. A challenge coin represents an organization like the Police Academy, and it is also an honor for this special event. The coins built a close-knit lifetime bond between all the student officers and represents unity after all they have endured during the academy training together. Chief Kevin Ritacco, please make your way to the podium at this time. Each member of the academy was challenged academically, physically, and mentally. Areas of instruction included physical fitness, defensive tactics, first aid CPR, criminal law, and criminal procedure, just to name a few. The certificate they are about to receive is not a gift. It is not awarded lightly, and it must be earned. A college photographer is present to take pictures. Everyone is reminded to remain in your seats. This will allow each student officer's family the ability to observe the graduation. In your programs, the graduates' names are listed in the order in which they will receive their certificate holder. You will be able to judge when your loved one is going to walk across the stage. Please hold your applause in order to allow everyone to hear the names of their loved ones when it is read. Student Officer Martel will now report that all the student officers are present and prepared to receive their certificate.
Student Officer Martel, report!
Squad 1. Sir, Squad 1 is all present and accounted for, sir. Squad 2.
Sir, Squad 2, all present and accounted for, sir.
Squad 3.
Sir, Squad 3, all present and accounted for, sir.
Squad 4.
Sir, Squad 4, all present and accounted for, sir.
Squad 5.
Sir, Squad 5, all present and accounted for, sir.
Sir, all squads present and accounted for, sir.
Home.
Row 1. Left, face.
Stephen Martell, Class President. Ann Darista, Color Guard. Nicholas Ford, Color Guard. Grant Thomas, Guidon Bearer. Daisy Rodriguez. Bryce Baker. Jennifer Downey. Kiana Torres. Adelise Ortiz.
Row 2, left, face.
Stephanie Hopkins. Sotra Thak. Brendan Sargent.
Row 1, right, face. Take seat.
Nicholas Schwanier. Andy Kita. Nicholas Haskell. Matthew Tompkins, Class Treasurer. Kevin Crouch. Ace Fontaine. Irvin Kotra. Saul Aponte.
Row 3, left face.
Iliad Maldonado. Jacob Ramos. Cameron Caldwell.
Row 2, right face. Take seats.
Darian Schuneman, QCC employee. Alexis Lanciani, class secretary. Jose Rivera, QCC employee. Jonathan Roy. Justice Adjaman. Andre Crevier. Nicholas Ritaco III. Luis Pizarro.
Row 4, left face.
John McQueen, Squad Leader. Luke Mullen. Ryan Stockhouse. Randy Fisher, Class Vice President, QCC employee. Brian Kelly. Wojciech Stomsky. Paul Fernandez. Luis Portillo Reyes. Dylan Nephew. Robert Sebastian, Squad Leader. Robert Can. Andrew Reed. Christopher Peterson.
take seats.
Please join us in congratulating the men and women of RIROC #1 Police Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, the members of Academy Class #1 are no longer trainees, they are now graduates. Class #1, although every graduate before you has achieved a significant goal, some of the Academy members have further distinguished themselves by their outstanding success in the training process. We now recognize all of these individuals. The first award is the Honor Graduate Award, which will be presented by Chief Furtacco. Each member of Class #1 was challenged academically, physically, and mentally. Among the Academy class, this graduate officer stands at the top of their class. This graduate officer demonstrated excellence in all areas of training and was selected by their peers. The Academy staff is proud to announce that graduate officer Randy Fisher has earned the Honor Graduate Award. Officer Fisher, front and center. The Director's Award is presented by Chief Kevin Furtacco. The Director's Award is given to the graduate officer who attained the highest academic average over the course of the Academy training. Class #1 was instructed and tested in more than 50 different subject areas, representing more than 372.5 academic hours. Receiving the Director's Award with a final grade of 97.6, Officer Robert Savaslian, front and center. Are they here? I didn't see. It's Josh's, but is he here? Here's what I saw Josh. Is he there? I don't know if the other one is. I don't know what it looks like. Okay. The Physical Training Award is presented. If Officer Paul Sear is in the room and Academy staff Josh Cole. The Academy Physical Fitness Program consists of several hours of physical training. This program is intense, challenging, and is a weekly class here at the Police Academy. The graduate officers receiving this award top the physical fitness program. Graduate officers Kiana Torres and Sotra Tach, front and center. Yeah. Please remain standing. The Most Improved Physical Fitness Award is also presented by Worcester Officer Paul Sear and Academy staff Josh Cold. This graduate student has clearly shown the most improvement over the course of the Academy training. Graduate Officer John McQueen, front and center.
Go, John!
Public service ones? You're doing this.
The Public Service Award is presented by Chief Ritako and Detective Sergeant Joseph Checky. Thank you, Josh Cole and Officer Sear. These graduate officers are being recognized for selfless acts while outside of the Academy grounds. These acts included medical aid and demonstrated professionalism in the eyes of the public. The following graduate students post: Officers Robert Sebastian, Officer Randy Fisher, Officer Jose Rivera, Officer Ace Fontaine, and Officer Brian Kelly. Please, front and center. Please join me in congratulating these members of class number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, finally our last speaker. It is customary for the graduating class to nominate one of their peers to deliver a speech on behalf of the Academy class. Representing the Academy class number 1 is Class President Stephen Martell.
You gotta take these gloves off. Guys, I'm right here if you can't see. A lot of my material's been stolen already.
What's that?
We're good. Good evening. For those of you that don't know my name, I am Stephen Martell. Throughout my life, I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for police officers and the work they do. Being able to stand here before you as the president of the first Quninsigamond Community College Reserve Intermittent Police Academy is truly an honor. On the behalf of every student officer, I would like to thank you for attending this special night. Every one of you have played an important role in all of our accomplishments. I would also like to thank President of Quninsigamond Community College, Luis Pedraja, Executive Director of the MPTC, Daniel Ziskovich, and all the police officers representing various police departments here tonight. I would like to start by painting a picture for you that represents the last 9 months. We started the Academy September 5th, 2018, as a group of 50 individuals who had never met before. Over time, we formed a bond and began to work together. We supported each other during physical training, helped prepare each other in the classroom for academics, and encouraged each other during defensive tactics to continue fighting when sprayed with OC. This was by far the worst day of the Academy. Although we struggled at times, we started to understand the true meaning of discipline, which was repeatedly drilled into our heads by Sergeant Checky. At times, we became complacent and lacked discipline, and as a result, we found ourselves outside in the pouring rain in 30-degree weather, standing at attention with Sergeant Checky standing before us. He threw what seemed to be hundreds of pages in the air with the definition of discipline written on them, which we began picking up, repeating the definition. Discipline, the instant willingness to obey orders, respect for authority, and self-reliance. After this day, we made sure we knew and understood the meaning of discipline. Working as a team and supporting each other is a vital lesson we learned. Over the past 9 months, we have learned policing is evolving from the us versus them mindset to a we mentality. We have been taught community policing and how it is the new standard. This means police partnering with the community and solving problems to increase order and trust. We participated in many events to help us understand what this truly meant, such as Stuff a Cruiser, which student officers brought in gifts to donate to families during Christmas, participated in food drives where we brought in canned goods to donate to local food banks to help families during Thanksgiving, the Pink Patch Project, and No Shave November, which are campaigns designed to bring awareness to the fight against cancer. Over the past 10 years, policing has changed. The trust within our community is at an all-time low, with officer deaths at an all-time high. The role of police officer has changed significantly with the lack of social services, the increase in mental health, mass shootings, and terrorism. Over the years, some incredible changes have taken place within policing, such as developing new policies to reduce risks, new tactics to maintain safety. However, one important change still needs to be made. We need to change the police officer mindset. One quality we all have is a warrior mindset. This has been instilled in us during defensive tactics and again during applied police procedures. This is crucial because of how dangerous the job is and how we need to be equipped with the proper skills and tactics to save lives and reduce injury. But we need to expand our mindset to connect with the people within our community. When we break down the word warrior, it is a person that is at war with something, or an us versus them mentality. When you break down this mindset and overcome the us versus them mentality, we become guardians. As a guardian is a protector of the community. A guardian is a person who looks out for the community and a person that partners with the community rather than someone that separates from them. We must expand our mindset and understand that the people within our community are not our customers, but are people who want to understand their police officers and want to support them. We must begin to rebuild our relationships with the community. A few ways we can do this is by providing support to the community, holding ourselves accountable and transparent, and having more of a selection process in hiring. Providing support and repairing the relationships with the community can be as simple as stopping to help the individual broke down on the side of the road change their tire. Don't drive past this vehicle. Stop. Get out. Help them change their tire. Assist them. Assure them that they're going to be safe. Let them know that everything will be all right. Another way we can rebuild our relationship with the community is accountability and transparency. We need to have the highest level of morals and ethics. We need to provide the community with accurate information. If there's video footage, we need to make it available. And if the officer's actions are incorrect or unjust, it needs to be addressed appropriately. The final way to rebuild the relationship with our community is to be more selective in our hiring. We need to change the process from an elimination to more of a selection. In the hiring process, candidates get hired. The candidates that get hired are the individuals that have not been eliminated. We need to hire individuals that will best represent our community. Officers that are understanding, compassionate, officers who are willing to build relationships and trust between the police and community. We need to hire candidates from local communities, candidates that have roots, and candidates who are personable. Sir Robert Peel said in the 1890s, "The people are the police, and the police are the people." And this is so true. As we leave tonight, I ask you to consider this warrior guardian mindset. Please understand, in this new age of policing, you need to have both the warrior and the guardian mentality, and work to build positive relationships between the police and the community. At this time, I would like Chief Rotacco, Deputy Chief Diagiovanni, Deputy Chief Rodriguez, and Sergeant Checky to make their way to the stage for special recognition. While you make your way down to the stage, on the behalf of the class, I would like to sincerely thank you for all your hard work, dedication to make this academy the best in the state of Massachusetts. There is no real way to show you our appreciation or gratitude, but here is a little token. You want to just take it out of the bag?
Take it out of there?
Yeah.
Chief Rotacco.
Step out, step out. Sergeant Checky. Deputy Chief Rodriguez. Deputy Chief Diagiovanni. These sweatshirts represent a lock. These sweatshirts are a bond locking us together, representing the first ever Quninsigamond Community Reserve Intermittent Police Academy. Thank you for making this possible.
Thank you.
Sergeant Checky.
It's on tape, you got it on.
Excellent. Now I would ask Sergeant Checky to remain on the stage. It is customary for the exiting class to leave something to help improve the academy. During this academy, our med kit was nothing more than a few Band-Aids and a couple ice packs. Thankfully, we didn't have any serious injuries during training, but if we did, our medical bag would have not helped. Our gift to the incoming class is a new fully stocked medical supply bag that has everything you would need in an emergency. Yes, sir. In closing, I would like to again thank everyone in attendance and ensure to you the police officers that sit before you will represent the community and this academy with the highest level of integrity, ethics, and morals while rebuilding positive relationships within the police community. Thank you.
Thank you, Class President Martell, and thank you, class, for the gifts. They are appreciated. They really are. It is now time to transfer the Academy Class Guidon and Command. The Guidon is carried to signify a unit designation. One member of the class is selected as the Guidon bearer. He or she stands in front of the unit and is the rallying point for the unit to fall into formation when the order is given. The exchange of the guidon symbolizes the transfer of the members of the recruit training class from the academy to careers as police officers. The class guidon will be returned to the QCC Police Academy as an inspiration to the future academy classes. Detective Sergeant Joseph Checky will accept the class guidon on behalf of the academy staff. Graduate Officer Martell, front and center. At this time, Detective Sergeant Checky will transfer command of the Academy class to Class President Martell. It is the final courtesy between the Academy class and the Academy staff.
Student Officer Martell, dismiss the class! Class, attention!
Hail, hail, class number one! Hail, hail, class number one! Sergeant Checky, no more to and from.
Sergeant Checky, no more to and from.
No more on the run.
No more on the run.
No longer having fun.
No longer having fun.
QCC Academy
QCC Academy
is through with me.
is through with me.
We are finally through.
We are finally through.
Next class, number two.
Next class, number 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the class begins to depart from the auditorium, we ask that you remain where you are and allow the graduates to exit. On behalf of class number one, I wish to thank you for attending our graduation ceremony. The new graduates will be in the lobby. Please feel free to greet them for pictures and congratulations. Once again, thank you for your attendance and enjoy the rest of your night.